Check, check.
Mic check.
Hello, and welcome back to Don't Watch That, a series where I review films, mostly horror, and give you a general debriefing to let you know whether or not you should engage. All right, let's go ahead and deploy. Bodies came crashing into theaters this fall, leaving a trail of mixed reviews in its wake, though overall positive. Many praised its perceptible attempt at a connection with Gen Z and top-notch casting. Others thought the film missed the mark as far as the writing and the characters, instead hyping up the plot and the soundtrack. Others, like me, missed the film entirely until it wormed its way under my radar and assaulted my recommended movies on YouTube, my own home turf. After a bit of snooping, I decided to give it a shot, seeing some of my trusted podcast daddies recommending it, and also for the fact that I find Pete Davidson funny. Not always ha-ha funny, but like funny to look at. Interesting eyes. So, to watch that or don't to watch that? That is the question. Let us now swoop in for a counterattack and find out. The film opens with two girls kissing, and you already know it's going to be a little edgy. The scene lasts just a few moments too long, with one of them opening their eyes and staring, which is extremely disconcerting to me. Then it is revealed that one of the girls has to take a tinkle, and the other is preventing that with smooches. At this point, I am already uncomfortable. After the one young lady finishes relieving herself in the woods, we are treated to a tender moment of the couple lying on the forest floor, surely covered in bugs, enjoying each other's company until woman number one ruins it by saying, "I love you," which seems to make woman number two a bit uncomfortable. New relationship, perhaps? Or maybe in the throes of a passionate kiss she caught you staring, only millimeters from her face like a verified psychopath. Come on, there's rules! So that "I love you" was just left hanging in the air like an old fart as we smash cut to the pair texting furiously like a couple of maniacs, being watched from the backseat ominously by the film's title. Next, we're introduced in a more traditional fashion to the two lovebirds as a truly obnoxious pop rap abomination creates absolute bedlam in the doldrums. B, the one on the left there in the passenger seat, is cyber-stalking her girlfriend, Sophie, the operator of the vehicle. She's making little snippy remarks while also getting an abridged history of Sophie's friend group. Sophie warns B that they all pretend to be nihilistic doomers online, but that they're actually cool. I remember those days, being coy on MySpace, posting romantic acousto dirges on Pure Volume, waxing poetic on Zanga, so I can relate to these gals. Sophie then seems really concerned about who is texting B, but I'm sure that's nothing to worry about, not a red flag or anything. Next! Sophie fumbles with her defective car window in order to try and enter the gate code, ultimately deciding to just hop out the door and do it the old-fashioned way, just like Mama used to make. Aerial drone strike from camera 1 as we see the car pull into a house bigger than most of us have even ever driven by, confirming your possible suspicion that these kids come from money and probably do at least a little of their breaststroking in a room full of gold like Scrooge McDuck. The two hop out and confer for a moment in the driveway, and by confer, I mean smear their lips against each other once more and start to head in. But wait! B forgot something in the car. "Don't be long," Sophie says, and heads in without her. In what is surely a moment of solitary nervous panic, B fumbles around in the backseat for her parcel, then takes a moment to reflect in the mirror about the life choices that led her to this anxiety-filled moment. She fakes a smile, practicing for what she'll surely be doing for the rest of the night, then heads for the door without closing the visor mirror like a goddamn rookie. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. We get our first look at David, the host of the event, and Emma, Jordan, and Greg and Alice. They all appear to be either trying to drown themselves because nothing in life matters, or seeing who can hold their breath the longest. Sophie walks up, is spotted by Alice, and one by one everyone comes up to see who interrupted their water breathing session. David looking especially perturbed by this, seemingly really interested in seeing the other side and feeling something for once in his life. Greg comes pulling up the rear, revealing that it was in fact a contest. To him at least. "I told you I've got really big lungs," he says. "Okay, buddy." During this reunion, B creeps through the house like a thief in the night, eyeing the various batteries and flashlights stockpiled on the table in what is this room called? The rich people room? The lobby? The foyer? I used to live in a trailer park. Anyway, Sophie catches up with the apparent podcast host Alice as they exchange pleasantries and reminisce about all the hookers and blow they used to do. But Sophie is sober now. What a drag, man. B finally pulls up, skirt, and Sophie introduces her to all of her buddies. And Greg. I feel like every party I went to as a young adult had the one guy who was like 10 years older, but also you never find out why he's there or who he came with. Classic. Shot glasses and liquor line the poolside, which is dangerous and a slip and fall hazard, so everyone gets out of the pool to grill Sophie about why she's there. Apparently, she didn't even reply to the group text letting everyone know she was coming. What a faux pas. Apparently, Sophie isn't great about texting back, and hasn't been for the last couple months as she's been a little bit busy. In rehab. B delivers the parcel to Professor Dope and he asks what it is, feigning politeness so hard he almost sprains his eyebrows. "Zucchini," she says. "Bread." "Thanks?" he asks. In celebration of Sophie finally returning from her sequester, Alice brings out the good shit, which Greg opens with a sword, prompting David to deliver my third favorite line in the movie, "Give me back my dad's Gurkha sword." Apparently David and Greg are having some sort of penis measuring contest, which Greg seems entirely unaware of. David appears to not be having like all that great of a time, man, being upstaged by Greg, who is also cut like a slab of marble, and the type of chill dude who wears a hat in the pool. Righteous, man. Jordan seems to have some kind of history with Sophie as they immediately start being catty with each other, and here comes the rain again. It's a hurricane party. Seriously, that's why they have all the flashlights. Kids find any reason to drink, don't they? Inside the house, Jordan corners Bea and warns her in kind of a threatening way to be careful with Sophie, as her parents' house is even bigger than this one, so just like, be careful. David pulls Sophie aside to complain about Greg and explain once and for all why his eyes look like that. Apparently, there's also an eighth guest, Max, who got into an altercation with David and had to take the car and go to the timeout corner. Sophie asks David if he's talked to her parents yet, and he closes off a little, wondering why she actually came here. Tense. Meanwhile, throughout the house, the other guests are starting to warm up to Bea a little, carrying on with your average mischievous deeds, drinking, drugs, and TikTok dances. Bea decides to join in on the festivities, having a sip or two with a sham, and absolutely plowing through some chocolate cake before being told that it has pot in it. Whoopsies! You're gonna see the upside down tonight, young lady. The party explodes into other areas of the house like a virus. Everyone's social gears finally lubed up. Jordan corners Bea for one last grilling session, verifying where Bea went to school as if she were some kind of desperate undercover cop or something. Jesus, what are you, a lawyer? This scene bears my number one favorite line of the movie. David is dancing with Emma and he keeps munching on her lip like a crazy person. She finally calls him an asshole and leaves. Sophie sees this and comes over to ask what happened, to which David replies, "I'm coked up and I bit her." Sophie then cuts the dance off short, asking who wants to play Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And someone, Alice I believe, absolutely shrieks in approval in the background. Papa Molly, I'm sweating. Everyone gathers in another luxurious, spacious room so that Jordan and Sophie can explain the rules. It's basically Among Us IRL, but somebody sabotages electrical right at the beginning. Let the games begin! But not before pre-game ritual that involves everyone slapping the absolute taste out of each other's mouths and taking more shots. It's Bea's turn to slap David, which I've personally been waiting for since the first time I saw him, but she wimps out and gives him a couple baby love taps instead. Frustrated and coked up, David says, "For God's sake, like this!" Then turns around and clobbers Greg into the dark timeline. Masculine bravado. After everyone kisses and makes up, well, kind of, it's time for lights out as the game begins. Everyone scrambles from the lobby to go do tasks, and from here the film ratchets into a tense, bloody, and drama-filled mystery. This is where I will evacuate the plot to save you the spoilers, because that's just how I do for now. Anyways, you can tell me if you want the full breakdowns in the future, I'd be honored. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is a non-stop, anxiety-inducing mystery/social experiment. It's heavy on character conflict as everyone, despite being friends, seems as though they would turn on each other like starving hyenas if the situation called for it. This person has beef with that one, the other one secretly hates this one here, and Greg just kind of sits there in the middle of it being the adorable lunk he is. Or is he? The film looks good visually, despite 3/4 of it taking place in the dark. The filmography makes use of stark lighting with the use of flashlights and colorful rave necklaces and the like to really make the action pop. There weren't really any scenes I felt were washed out or too hard to tell what was going on. Fun to look at. Good job, everybody. Golf clap. The sound was, I guess, kind of unremarkable, but most people don't seem to care about that much anyways, although I will let it be said that if you pay real close attention, horror films and thrillers often rely on expert sound design to help tell the story. Nothing silly, but nothing to write home about from here. The only sound complaint I have is the bizarre choice of pop rap music. Not my cup of tea, but I do see why it's there. The rest of the score is this kind of eerie techno siren warbling for the most part. I enjoyed it, and the timing made sense, unlike some other movies I've seen recently. The acting was good, the standouts in my shitty opinion being Alice and Jordan, who got a lot of play, along with Sophie to a lesser extent. The rest of the characters don't get a lot of development, which makes sense for a whodunit, but much like Jordan, I really would have liked to know just a little bit more about our would-be protagonist Bea, as she ends up being kind of a blank slate for you to inhabit. Our every woman, if you will, even if you won't. Alice emits my second favorite line in the movie, part of which I cannot reveal here without spoiling anything, but ends with, "You bitch! You're such a fucking bitch!" in a real manic way, which reminded me of totally healthy past relationships. Pete Davidson, of course, kind of just plays himself as far as I can tell, but is a kind of a fun addition to the cast. I don't know if anyone else could have pulled off that whole "I'm a tremendous piece of shit, deal with it" vibe that he does so well in all aspects of life. Kudos to everyone in the cast, even Max. Bet you forgot about him. Well, so did the movie. LOL. The plot had me guessing right up until the reveal, which is pretty rare. I tend to use my expert knowledge of set design, plot devices, video production, and sound design to overanalyze everything I watch, which is the curse I bear to the detriment of everyone around me. So I can usually tell by the middle of the movie what's going on and kind of predict how everything's going to close out, but this one actually fooled me. Embarrassing! I'm 0 for 2 so far! Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. Watch or don't watch. I'd say watch. I mean, for God's sake, you can rent the damn thing for $5 on YouTube. I feel like I got my money's worth out of that. It avoided the more and more common streaming drop of $20, take it or leave it, and I respect that. It's a fun mystery and also a satirical view of a younger generation and their problem-solving skills, which may or may not miss the mark depending on who you ask. I found myself wondering again and again, are they serious? Is this serious? For real? What's going on here? Each incident and reveal came with satisfying results in my opinion and was peppered with humor throughout. It was really more of a black comedy in many ways. I liked it. I honestly don't have a whole lot to say about the movie overall. Is it the best film of the year? Absolutely not. Why would you even ask that, you Philistine? Is it enjoyable horror drama with good pacing and damn near perfect runtime, maximizing the bang for your buck? Sure, I'd say go check it out. I was hesitant at first seeing the trailer and feeling like I may be a little bit too old for this movie, but I'm glad I took the chance. I doubt if I'll ever watch it a second time, but that pantheon is reserved for only the best films like The Bay or Blair Witch. Sensing my extremely specific taste here? So yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you thought here in the comments, and if you have a movie you'd like me to slap my aging peepers on and review, also let me know in the comments. Also, I have a podcast on this channel too if you're into that kind of thing, and a TikTok, but I'll put all those links at the end. Thanks for watching. Till next time, bye!